Good morning, dear children. Today we are on the last part of our chapter, landforms. And in this part of our video, we are going to study about plains. This is the last landform which we are going to discuss in this chapter. So in the previous videos, we have already discussed about plateaus, mountains, valleys, etc. In this video, we will study about plains. There are different types of plains are there, and we will study about what are the characteristics, what are the uses of plains, etc. So here we start with plains. What is a plain land means? Plains are flat lands, usually the most fertile place of the earth. Plains are the most fertile place. So most of the agricultural activities are on the plain, and there are different types of plains are there. Here we will see the first three important types of plains. They are structural plain, erosional plains, depositional plains. So these are the three important types of plains. Structural plains means flat horizontal plains, and the next one is the erosional plains. Erosional plains are those plains where we can see it happens due to the erosion which happens due to rivers, glaciers, wind action, etc. So it happens usually due to the erosional activities by water bodies or by the agents of gradation. The next one is deposition. That means erosion, they take away the land mass or the topsoil and it deposits. And the second type of plains are formed due to the deposition of this type of, that means erosion. So the three different types of plains are, the first one is structural, then erosional and the depositional. Along with this, so many other different types are there like coastal plains, alluvial plains, penny plain, peneplain, etc. So about each one we have discussed in the second part of our video with pictures, so you can see that. Now here we will go with the just an introduction. So these are the three different types of plains. Now the next topic which we have to discuss in this part is characteristics of the plains. What are the characteristics of the plain? The plains are flat land. The second one is they are the most fertile part of the earth. Third one is most of the agricultural activities are gone in this or undergone in this place. Next one is most of the places or most of the cities or where the people live are in plains. And the plains are areas where plenty of water resources there. And it is a place where it is congenial condition for the people to live because the temperature is also favorable. We get plenty of water there. Then agricultural activities are done in plains. So most of the cities and towns grow in the plain region. So these are the main characteristics of the plain. They are good for agriculture, plenty of water is available, people live there, etc. So five important characteristics or importance are there that is given in detail in the next part of our video. Study that, it will be asked for the exam. Now the last part of our chapter is about the life of people and the people who live, or how the place where we live affect the people. That means those people who are living in a mountainous region and those people who are living in a plain, how this areas or the geographical condition affect the people. So the people who live in a mountain, their lifestyle, their food habits, etc. are different from that of a person who live in a plain. So what are the features or what are the people, what are the condition of the people who live in the mountain? They are usually the temperature will be low. They live in a rough terrain. It is now water scarcity will be there, and there is a rugged area is there, so it is not good for agriculture along with the transportation. So all these problems are there in a mountainous region, but plus points are there, that is it is conditions or the climate is very good throughout the year, it is healthy there, plus pollution, etc. Also all these things are there in a mountainous region. When coming to the plain region, it is congested, more people live there, job opportunities are there, and it is good for agriculture. So like that, positives and negatives are there in both in mountainous region and plain region. That is also discussed in the last part of our video. So now here we wind up our second chapter and the first semester. Now the notes are already given. First chapter's question answers are already given, and it's one test is also taken. Now we that second chapter's test will be uploaded soon. Now we will move to the second part of our video where each and every point is given in detail.
A plain is defined as an extensive area of lowland with a level or general undulating surface. So a plain is we can call it as a lowland or a flatland, and it is also undulating surface. What is this undulating surface means? It's having small ups and downs are there. So that means a plain doesn't means that a flat land which is flat throughout, or it looks like a tabletop. It is not like that. There is a ups and downs are there. And the plains may be a lowland, it can be an alluvial flood plain, coastal plain, a glacial or volcanic plain, etc. So different types of plains are there. Sometimes it is a lowland, sometimes an alluvial flood, sometimes a coastal plain, a glacial or volcanic plains, etc. So is of different categories. Now they may be caused by an interior force of the earth or by the denudation and deposition. So it can cause due to two reasons. The first one is by the interior forces which happens on the or happens inside the earth, and the second one is by the denudation and deposition. And now what is denudation means? Denudation means moving away of earth's surface with by water, then wind, ice, etc. is called a denudation. So it can cause due to two reasons, either by the internal force or by the external force are deposition and denudation. So this is then a simple an introduction about the plain. Now about the classification of plains. We can categorize it into three categories, and they are structural, erosional and depositional plains. So plains are of three types, and they are structural, erosional and depositional plains. Along with that, there are other types are also there, like a coastal, alluvial plain, penny, peddy, etc. that we'll study later afterwards. Now we'll see the first most important three types of plains. The first one is a structural plain. What is a structural plain? Structural plains are relatively undisturbed horizontal surface of the earth. They are structurally depressed and most extensive natural lowland on the earth's surface. You can see the picture of structural plain here. It is a relatively horizontal area of flat land, and it is a undisturbed land, and they are structurally depressed and most extensive lowland. So that's a structural plain. Now the next one is an erosional plain. Erosional plain, as the name indicates, it happens due to the erosion. Earth's surface caused by natural weathering, by glacier activity, wind movement, by water. Water means from sea or river or by streams. Then the torrent and are subdivided on the basis of the type of erosional agent. So erosional plains happen due to the erosion, and it can be due to the glacial movement or by wind or rain or movement of water, etc. And now what is this torrent means? Torrent just means that a very swift movement or a strong flow of water or in glacier, etc. So erosional plains happen due to the flow of water or by any other agents of gradation, or we can say that by glacial movement or by wind or running water. The next one is the second part, that is we can say that erosion and deposition. Here it is deposition is the next one. By eroding also we can make the land flat, and by depositing also. Depositional plains are mostly fertile area which have been formed by the deposition of sediments carried by various agents of nature. And what are the agents of nature? We can say that running water, wind, etc. And the alluvial depositional plains, which are fertile due to silt deposition of the river. By the river deposit the sediments and thus makes the land fertile. Along with that, lead deltas are formed. Like that, it also makes the land fertile. So depositional plains are the third group of plain. So the first three categories we have studied, which are they? They are structural plain. You can see the images here. Structural plain, It's a flat lowland. It's a horizontal flat area, undisturbed one. The second one is an erosional plain. It happens due to the erosion. And the next one is a depositional plain. Happens due to the deposition of sediments by the running water, rivers flowing or seas, etc. produce the depositional plains. Now, along with this three, there are some other types of plains are there. They are four in number. They are coastal plains, alluvial plains, peneplains, and peneplains. So, which are the other three categories along with the first three? First three are structural, erosional, and depositional, and the other four are coastal plains, alluvial plains, peneplains, and peneplains. So now the first one, we'll start with the coastal plains. The coastal plains, you can see the image here. It's a plain accompanied or nearby a coastal region. A coastal plain is flat, low-lying and adjacent to a sea coast. You can see the image of India here, that green in color, and you can see the black line drawn on the side, and that portion is the lowland or the coastal plain of India. So it's a plain which is nearby a sea. The next one is the most fertile plain, that is alluvial plain. Alluvial plain is a largely flat lowland created by the deposition of sediments over a long period of time by one or more rivers coming from highland region from which alluvial soil forms. So alluvial plains are formed by the rivers. They bring, we in the previous class we have studied about the flowing of a river, upper course, middle and lower course. The river brings sediments from the upper course and it deposits in the lower region. Thus makes the alluvial plains, and it is the most fertile part, and it is used for agriculture, and it is formed not by a single river, maybe more than one river. So that is the alluvial plain. The next one is a peneplain. A peneplain is more or less level land surface produced by erosion over a long period undisturbed by crystal movement. So a peneplain is formed by the erosion, and it is formed due to erosion activity which happens for many years. The next one is called a peneplain. A peneplain is an extensive plain. It is formed in a desert by the coalescence of neighboring pediments, or it is formed due to the deposition of sediments, and it is also accompanied, or it is nearby a desert. So peneplains are, it's an extensive plain nearby a desert. Now let's see the examples of the first three plains, that is structural, depositional and erosional plain. Structural plain, Coromandel Coast, Northern Circas and Malabar Coast. These three are the example of structural plain. For example, depositional plain, we can say Indo-Gangetic plain, which is the biggest area or the biggest plain in our country. It's an example for depositional plain. And for erosional plain, Aravalli's plains around Aravalli in India and Upper Mississippi Valley in USA are the example for erosional plains. So this is the end of different types of plains, and the last topic of plains are characteristics of plains. What are the characteristics of a plain? So these are the 5 characteristics are there of plains, and they are: plains formed by alluvial deposits are very fertile and developed in agriculture. For example, we can say that Gangetic plain is an example for alluvial deposition plain, and it is the most fertile part of India. The second character is plains support a very dense population. Plains are comparatively level surface of earth at a low elevation. Elevation means height. So comparatively it is level, and its height of the land is comparatively very low. Plains are developed in transport and communication. Most of the big cities are situated in the plains. So these are the 5 characteristics of a plain. It is very important. At least 3 you have to learn for your exam. So let's see what are the characteristics again. Plains formed by alluvial deposits are very fertile and good for agriculture. It's a densely populated area. Its height or elevation is less. and it's developed in transport and communication, and we can see many big cities near the plains. So this is the end of plains, and now two more topics are there in our chapter, and that is landforms and people. The first one is impact on life of people in the village, in the mountain region, and the second one is impact of landforms in the life of people who lives in the plain region. So first we will start with the mountains. Can say that mountains play a very vital role in the realm of human affairs. There are so many important things are there. Agriculture is not that much possible in the mountainous region, though transport, communication, and living condition is also not that much good in mountain, and the area is very thinly populated, and it's very cold region also, so it is not possible for the people to survive there. But still there are so many positive things or good things are there in the mountainous region. Now let's see what are the good things or what are the merits or positives in the mountainous region. Mountain exerts a powerful influence on precipitation. Precipitation means rainfall. It can be sleet, or it can be hailstones, or it can be snowfall, etc. So the main precipitation we call it as a rainfall. Mountains are the source of perennial rivers. It is a source of many rivers, and it is good for cattle and sheep rearing. Because of low temperature, healthy climate, this region is an important tourist spot. So mountain region is very important because of its beauty, and it attracts many tourists. Mountain regions are rich in minerals. So, and these are the five important things which we can call it as attraction of the mountains or the positives of the mountain. The first one is exerts a powerful influence on precipitation, sources of many rivers, and then ideal for cattle and sheep rearing. Because of low temperature and healthy climate, people opt to go there. It's an important tourist spot, and the mountain region are rich in minerals. These are the five important points or impact on the life of people in the mountains. Now the second portion is about the plains. What are the main attractions of plain? It is said that 80% of the world's population lives in the plains. Alluvial plains are the cradle of many civilizations. Along with that, it is good for people to live. They get plenty of water, transport, communication facilities. Everything is available in the plain. So most of the people live in the plains. So let's see what are the good things in a plain. They are four in number. Plains are densely populated. Plains are fertile, developed in agriculture, so it support a huge population. The second one is plains are developed in transport and communication. Railway, roadway, waterways, all these are there in the plains. Now most of the big cities are found in the plains. As earlier said, that most of the people opt to live there because of the living condition, and they get plenty of job opportunities are there, so the people opt to live in the plains, and big cities are in the plains. Now the plains of low latitude and not very populated. We can say that the people who are the plains in the low latitude region, it is not thickly populated because it is having a hot and moist climate, and compared to that, the plains in the middle latitude are thickly populated because the condition is favorable, good for agriculture, etc. So in the middle latitude, the people live more than the low latitudes. Here the arid plains are developed in agriculture, and with the help of irrigation. In the thickly populated areas of the middle latitude, if those areas are arid or waterless region, the people used to do agriculture with the help of irrigation. So these are the main points about the people who opt to live in the mountains, and what are the positives of mountains and the plains. So this is the end of our second chapter. So according to your syllabus, this first two chapters are the chapter which is included in the first semester. So here we came to an end for first semester, and in the next class or in the next video I'll upload your question paper of your second unit test, and you can write that test in the next week itself. We can write the test, and as soon as possible I'll upload the questions, and all the question answers are already given, so you can learn that. And some fill up questions are also given the last part. You can see that questions also. The first question is, most of the big cities are situated in the dash. Second, the Indo-Gangetic plains are an example of dash plains. 3, the plains of dash latitude are thickly populated. 4, dash is an example for structural plain. 5, most of the minerals in the world are obtained from dash. So these are some questions, and for test you don't think that questions from whatever is given or at backside of the textbook will be there. Questions can be asked from any part of the textbook. So learn well, prepare well, and the question paper will be uploaded soon. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.